Hello, everyone. How you doing? You're very welcome to this week's Rugby View, even with myself, Aidan Raftery, and of course, as always, to talk about all things rugby, we have Adrian Leddy from Craig's Rugby Club. Hello, Adrian. Great to have you on board as always.
Yeah, absolutely, Aidan. Yeah,
Uh, and it's good to have plenty to talk about on the rugby scene as always. And we start off as we always do with the mini rugby.
yeah. Mini rugby this weekend or the weekend gone by. It was just a training weekend and something similar for this weekend coming. So again, it's a you have very busy with a number of blitzes, and I suppose coming up to the Christmas now, people will be slackening off a bit in numbers until the new year. But yeah, we're continuing from 10 o'clock every Saturday morning for boys and girls. So it's going well, Aidan.
That's great, and of course, it's they love it, even though the pitches are are getting harder to play on, I suppose, with the weather. I know, but the weather has been not too bad the last week or so, with regards to no rain. So the pitches mightn't be too bad, but still, this time of year, they can be hard to play. Well, not hard to play on, but you know what I mean. They can be muddy.
Yeah, very much so. But I don't think they once they get warmed up. I don't think they pass a bit of heat on it, and
Yeah.
some of them nearly enjoys getting in there and getting mucky and coming home to mommy and daddy showing how they played, and sure if the jersey and togs is dirty, it shows that they were taking part and then that they enjoyed themselves.
That's it. That's it. And we move on then to the youths section at Craig's Rugby Club, and there's been plenty of action at underage level in both boys and girls.
Yeah, well, a lovely visit there from Dublin club Bective Rangers. It's an old established club there in Donnybrook. I frequent it fairly often. It's one side of the Donnybrook where a lot of the games were played in Donnybrook. So it's an old club, and they brought down under 12 boys and that there to Craig. So it was a very enjoyable day with them, and our Craig's under 12 had a great day, and sure it's just great to mix maybe with another team from outside the norm that they would be playing within Connacht. So that was a good adventure, and again, thanks to everybody involved for welcoming Bective down to Craig's, and sure the coaches and management and all were very impressed by the facilities in Craig's, and they very really enjoyed their outing down to Craig's. So then we had under 13 boys as well. They had a good day against Ballinrobe. We had under 15s had a league game at home to Galway Bay, and uh, came away with an narrow win. And our under 17s had a great win away to our neighbours Ballinasloe in the league. It's great to see the under 17 boys doing well and putting together a number of wins. So because they're the future, once they come to 17, 18s, they move on to say the under 20s and the senior teams. And on the girls, we had under 16 girls out. They lost out to Dunmore in the league. We had no senior women this week. So, again, the girls rugby continues, and they put in a big effort at getting the girls out to training, and I can honestly tell you that they really enjoy it, and they're playing it in a number of the schools now, and that's a great that's a great help, and it's a great help also that they in getting their friends to come out and play the game.
That's it, and of course, now that you mentioned the schools, I suppose for the last couple of years, for the last number of years, both in the CBS and of course the Convent of Mercy, it's been in the schools that have been taking part in the leagues and the championships there, and that's great to see. And the player and the teams have really come on, and the CBS as well, and that's continuing on at the moment as well, isn't it?
Oh yes, absolutely, and it's great to have it in all the schools, and we have it in Ballygar, and we have it in Castlerea and so on. So they play against one another, the schools, and it's great, and they all use the Craig's facilities, so they get very familiar with playing other teams from school teams in Craig's, and we did host the big schools finals there, this big schools league finals, and Sligo Grammar won both the junior and the senior. So it's again Craig's is ideal there, particularly when you have a team coming from Sligo and the Marathon at Lowan. So Craig's was the ideal venue to host the game.
That's it, and well done to Craig's as well for Craig's Rugby Club for hosting that as well. And yeah, it certainly is great to see. And like we often mention that connection between Craig's Rugby Club and I suppose all the clubs around Connacht and the Connacht Rugby as well, the Connacht Rugby Club as well, and I suppose that association with the Connacht Academy as well. It's great to see a lot of the amount of I suppose Craig's players that get into it, and it plays a huge part in their development as well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, like they have sort of the mentors involved from Connacht Rugby, and the way the coaches are spotting talent all the time, and people that comes to the top are brought into the various development squads that kind of run both at school level and at club level.
That's it, and that brings us on then to the first and second teams.
Yeah, Craig's first travelled to Dunmore last Saturday evening, hoping to get a win, because Craig's needs to get back on the horse again and getting a few wins in the domestic league within Connacht. It's fine doing well in the All Ireland Cup, but we need to stabilise our position in that there in the Connacht League. So we lost out narrowly to a very good, strong Dunmore side. Their forwards dominated us in the second half, and again, it shows that Craig's has a bit of work to do. They have no time to sit on their laurels, because this Saturday evening up is our old rivals for the last number of years. Connemara comes to Craig's at 7 o'clock on Saturday evening. So that will be a great game again. It's something that we always look forward to. Yeah, it's like as I said, Connemara going well. They have a few fixtures behind us to catch up on, but they're always a difficult side to beat. And the one good thing is that we have them at home, but home advantage doesn't always win games. So the lads will need to perform on Saturday evening. So yeah, I think it's the club is looking forward to it, and hopefully that we can get back into our winning ways, because that's the we have only two games, Connemara and Ballinasloe, to play to get back into the top four of the league.
That's it, and I suppose just before we move on as well, we've to mention Kira Pata, the one of the girls from Buccaneers as well. Well, I know that's Buccaneers, but there's an association there because Colo is the first team coach with Craig, so it's great to see her, and I suppose a number of Craig's girls players as well getting into doing well and getting into the Ireland international teams, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they're involved with very much with Craig's the whole family, and we welcome that, and we welcome them, getting onto the international sides, and that's absolutely uh, tremendous for a small club like Craig's to have two players in on the international team now. So um, we look forward to that, and we look forward to them getting the central contracts, and it will mean that they'll be able to get the proper training and all now in Abbottstown in Dublin.
That's great. And before we move, I suppose before we move away from Craig's, I suppose we mentioned the very successful lotto that goes on every week as well, and that's proven a great success.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and we had special prizes every week in that there too, and it has got more of an interest in it of people joining up. So if people will see it on our social media outlets to how to join up the lotto, and we encourage everybody that's and the association with Craig's Rugby Club to join up the lotto. It's one of our major fundraisings for the in the year, so it's good, and it's working well, Aidan. So let's hope it will continue. And a big thank you to all the people and all the people within our community that supports the Craig's Lotto. Just before I leave the football side of it for Craig's, the seconds had no game last weekend. This weekend they have a home league game against Sligo seconds. So again, that's always a fairly even game between the two sides, because they're both of their first teams will be playing on Saturday. So this game will be at 2:30 in Craig's on Sunday.
And of course, but we can't leave out the ladies team as well, who are having a fantastic season so far.
Yeah, as I said, they've been going well in their own particular league. So again, they had no game at the weekend, but they are doing well. They have a game this weekend, and we wish them well. Every time that they go out, there's great work going on behind the scenes, and a good few new players have come in to strengthen the side this season.
And that brings us on to the AIL, both men's and women's AIL league as well.
Yeah, Galwegians are meeting some of the top teams, and that they're now in the AIL, and they were very unlucky against Old Belvedere last weekend. They built up a great lead in the first half, and then Belvedere got a second wind and came back at them, and just narrowly won in the end up. So that was unfortunate for the Galwegian girls. So they're out again now this Saturday as well. So that's the Galwegians women. The men's the four AIL men's team in Connacht. Buccaneers travelled the whole way up to Belfast to play Malone, and they had a narrow win, 27-22. This was great for the Buccaneers team. They have had a tough season up to this, but now they have put two wins together in the AIL. So this weekend they're at home in Athlone to play Reaney. From Reaney would be a small rural area in Derry in Maherafelt. So it's that will be another game that you'd be hoping that Buccaneers could take this weekend. And Corinthians lost out to Shannon. Sligo had a good win over UL Bows at home, and Galwegians had a big win against Enniscorthy. So, it was overall it was a good weekend for the Connacht teams, and they're all out playing in the IL again now this Saturday. So there's a fair run in for them into Christmas. There's a block of games there, and then the whole thing is reversed in the new year. It's a home and away, so they will be doing the whole game, the league in reverse. What was a home game for them this half of the season will be an away game for them from January onwards.
That's it, and that's great to see. Well done to all the teams from Connacht in the IL, and that brings us on then to Connacht Rugby, and obviously with the return of the URC after the November internationals, as I still call it, and it was great to see. It was great to see a very convincing win for Connacht against the Sharks in the sports grounds, or sorry, in the Dexcom Stadium, I should say. Still great works going on there, like we were saying there a couple of weeks ago on the stadium, and exciting times there for Connacht Rugby. That'll be officially opening in January. But yeah, a great win for Connacht, and Bundy Aki was a sub. I think he was brought on as well against the Sharks that evening as well, and yeah, a key game. It was a must-win game, and yeah, if they can get back-to-back wins, it would be great, and especially with, as I said, the official opening in January, it'll be a nice way to start off 2026. And I know there's a number of games between now and the new year, but it certainly is great.
Yeah, we were absolutely delighted. We're delighted with the performance, and we're delighted with how they carved out some great tries, and just both forwards and back interlinking with one another. They even when they made their changes and that there, all the new players coming in, they lifted the game and continued in the same vein as the team that started. So overall, it was a great performance by the overall squad on the night against Sharks. Now, I don't know how good the Sharks are, or how well they travel to Ireland. They're a hard team to beat in South Africa, but maybe when they travel, they're not as good, and maybe traveling down to the west of Ireland and Galway, they probably don't like the weather too good, even though the weather was fine on the night. But yeah, it's important. It's important now that we get a good run of games. This weekend, it's away from the URC. The Champions Cup and the Challenge Cup starts this weekend. So there's two of the provinces in the Champions Cup, Munster and Leinster, and Ulster and Connacht are in the Challenge Cup. And Connacht travel away to Ospreys in Wales this Saturday afternoon to play Ospreys. So that will be another big game for Connacht, and important that they get a good result to start their thing off in the Challenge Cup. So yeah, it's good, Aidan, and it lifted the crowd again, and to see Bundy Aki coming back. He's a great. The fans love him, the youngsters all love him, and then to see him going around the ground afterwards, signing autographs and all with families and the youngsters. That's all part of it now, and as I said, let's the big issue is that Mark Hansen is out for a good maybe a couple of months. He's after going under an operation for his foot injury that has been bothering him since the Lions tour. So he did try and make comebacks and hoping that it would go away, but unfortunately, surgery and appeared to be the only answer. So he will miss a good part of the season if he even gets back before the end of the season. So we don't know. We don't know how long an operation takes, but needless to say, it'll take some time.
That's it. And I suppose, with that in mind, he's going to be, given how he played against Australia and that, he has proved he'll be a big loss to Andy Farrell for the Six Nations.
Yeah, he's a big loss. He's a huge loss to Connacht, naturally enough, and he'll be also a big loss to the national team. There's not many players that have the type of rare talent that Mike Hansen has, and he can light up the crowd. He's just he, as you rightly said, he had a super game against Australia, scoring a hat trick of tries. His outright performance was exceptional, and it's just really unfortunate that he is out injured again. And I would like on behalf of all your listeners and that there to wish him well in his recovery.
Absolutely, yeah. He'd be hugely missed, but I suppose usually, in sport, as it always happens, one door closes, as in, he's injured. That gives an opportunity to another player, and I suppose Ireland are lucky when you see the resource of talent we have as well. It's going to be very interesting in the new year. Obviously, there's a lot of rugby to be played at club level. And, it's going to be interesting in the new year to see who replaces him in the squad or whatever, or even in the starting 15, because I'm sure if he was available for selection, he definitely would be in the starting 15. So that's going to be an interesting one as well.
It is indeed, yeah. Yeah, it all depends. It's between now and we'll talk a few times before then. But for the first game is in the Six Nations is the way to France on Thursday, the 5th of February. So there's quite a bit of rugby in the Championship Cup and Challenge Cup to be played before that. So it'll be just interesting to see what players come back from injury, what players will be available to him at the particular time. But he has to try before the World Cup. He now has to try and widen his squad as much as possible before the World Cup in Australia.
That's it. Well, listen, thanks very much, Adrian, for taking the time out to do Rugby View with us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thank you very much, Aidan.
No problem. Thanks very much. And that was myself and Adrian Leddy talking about all things rugby.